I am 6 feet tall.
Okay, so we're all taller than Napoleon here. I'm 5'10". How tall are you, Will?
About 5'11", 6-ish.
You don't know how tall you are, really? You just throwing that out there?
Generalization.
Yeah, all right.
He's trying to sound modest, right?
Yeah, well, I don't want to be considered a tall man. God knows what comes along with that implication.
Yes. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Exactly. Got to live up to the image.
Gotta kill rabbits.
Got to do a whole
Uh,
bunch of shit. Cut
we
down
were
trees.
we were talking. See, this is the problem. This is a recurring thing in vegetable lasagna now that we had some kind of humorous conversations and then they're gone. They're just lost in the internet somewhere. But
Well,
we're talking about ghosts actually, right? As it all
yes.
crashed.
Speaking of
Uh,
ghosts, I mean, Napoleon is dead, assuming.
Napoleon is dead. I think we can say that
Yes.
definitively.
So let's just say that the good karma from his ghost will help guide this conversation so we don't lose signal again. It
It's turned
was
into a prayer, I think, somehow. Like a prayer to Napoleon for vegetable lasagna to go well.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Amen.
Well, I was pitching this idea to Will because I had this concept in my head that. Well, okay, how did we get on this? We were talking about ghosts and like just annoying, haunting things. You
Yeah,
remember?
you had an idea where it was like a pitch for like a landlord who loves this old building and he wants like a
Yeah,
bunch of tenants to move in.
he saved up like his whole life to buy this building, and he buys it, and then there's tenants, and it's going fine. He's getting some money, and then they start complaining that the microwave's opening and closing, the doors are slamming. There's blood on the walls sometimes, and it's haunted, and he has to get rid of the ghosts before they all move out, and he has no building. He doesn't have any revenue from the building anymore. Was my idea. And Will seemed to like that, but so it's kind of just turned into like a little terrible writing pitch at Will.
Writing on the spot. Well, my thing was we could do a lot with that, but with side stories. Like the local theater act. Oh, happy Hanukkah to you as well. The local theater perhaps could have like a star actor, but he's very very local, and he's just gonna like move in as part of like the big intro for the opening of the building, and for some reason he just gets killed off or something. I don't know. Just be
I feel like that's a separate idea you've had, and you just shoehorned it into my completely unrelated supernatural pitch.
I like
just
that.
killing off a local star.
You're just going to use this to use all your ideas you've been saving up.
Yeah,
That's it.
well,
He's going to be like a politician that just slips his ideas into the bill.
and then somehow tries to get a pass.
Yes, right. So I'm actually seeing, when you say that, I picture Mouse Hunt in my head. That you guys are trying to get rid of the ghost, and it ends up being a debacle.
It's like Mouse Hunt.
Yes.
I don't think I'd ever pitch it that way because in my mind it's something like classy and not as stupid as it would have to be.
Yeah, it's less slapstick and more like film noir,
This-
sort of like black and white.
Yeah.
Perhaps we have, a main character smoking in a scene, and he's got, like some nice slanted Venetian blind lighting behind him. Black and white, of course.
Of course.
This black and white, just weird, haunting, supernatural comedy thing. I don't know.
Could be.
That's the only ghost story I've ever thought of doing. So we'll see if that ever happens, I guess. Well, you mentioned politics, Abe, so I guess let's just throw that out there.
Oh, shit.
We got Trump. Trump's the nominee,
Trump's the
presumptive nominee.
Yep.
Will, I know you're a Bernie supporter. What do you think?
Well, it's a loaded question, Tom. No, I'm not actually a Bernie supporter per se. I'm just sort of an enthusiast of seeing like where his campaign is going. More an enthusiast of like what his trajectory is. Over the
You
course
like
of it.
him and you like his views, but you don't want him to win? Is that where that's going?
No. I wouldn't be opposed to him winning, but if Hillary wins, I suppose I wouldn't mind. Just as long as the Donald doesn't get into the office, I think we'll be okay. I don't know. I just have weird reservations about a guy who has his hair combed over and his hair sprayed into oblivion, having his finger on the button. It just puts me in an uneasy state.
You got into a little argument with Chris Hardwick on Twitter over the weekend, and so he said, remind us what was the exchange?
Well, see, the thing was, so on Snapchat, there's a Comedy Central app, and occasionally they'll show stand-up bits, and they had the joke of the day, right? And Chris Hardwick's joke was, what was it? and I'm probably butchering it, but there really wasn't much there to
It was
to
bad already.
entertain. It was a pretty awful joke. So yeah, it was like bowling balls are hick Easter eggs or something, and I was like, that's not funny, and it's kind of irritating that anyone's laughing at this. Of course, the crowd goes wild, just like clapping, laughing like idiots. But yeah, so I tweeted at him because I was just generally frustrated, not figuring that he'd answer back like on a Saturday night. But apparently, the guy has like so much time on his hands to reply to shit on Twitter. But yeah, so I tweeted at Hardwick, "You're an inspiration by being simultaneously unfunny and yet quite successful." So, sort of like a masked compliment with definitely a backhanded smack.
That mask was kind of transparent.
I think the backhanded slap is much more accurate.
Well, I think he definitely agreed with you, Tom. He says, at Will Forget, "Thank you. I read some of your tweets. You're not funny either. But I guess that makes your lack of success predictable, comma, huh? With a winky face afterwards." So I'm not sure.
I took it
what
up
the
from
hell
there,
that's-
actually. Because so I saw
Yeah.
him do that, and I tweeted something like Chris Hardwick has awakened the sleeping giant in response to all that. And so let me just find the exchange here. Let me find it. This is all going to come back to your Trump comments, actually. So I've got it all in there. I just didn't prepare.
What baffles me is that the fact that a huge level star like Chris Hardwick has hours and hours
That's your backhanded
on Saturday
compliment
night
there, I
to
think.
just like, yeah, that's the only thing I got, Tom. The man's hugely successful. He's got a show on Comedy Central. Let me have my delusions.
So I said, okay, so Chris Hardwick awakens a sleeping giant. He says, "I thought he was just funnin' with apostrophe." I said, "I never know what Will is doing, really." He says, "Well, he seemed rude, so I blocked him anyway. It's my one day off." And so I said, "You'll miss out on some nuanced observations about hairlines and beards." And he said, "In that case, unblocked."
Really?
But then we get this Trump thing, and hairlines, I mean, that's a common thing, I think, in your comedy.
Well, male pattern baldness for some reason can't talk tonight is it's prevalent. It's an issue that we have in our time. So I'm just bringing it to attention, and
That's why it's in your comedy. Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, I am also unblocked by Chris Hardwick. So
I got you unblocked, is what I gleaned from that. So,
I don't know if I really
welcome.
appreciate that because I'm not following the guy, so I don't really give two shakes of a lamb's tail, to put it very politically correctly.
You just
Put it very
Right.
PG.
Well, I think your best point there is that why was he talking to both of us? And for me,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 4 tweets at me
No
on Saturday
kidding.
night. It's his one day off, but it's still Saturday. It's his day off, and it's a Saturday night, and he's talking to us on Twitter.
Yeah. On your day off, wouldn't you I don't know, go have a drink like downtown LA? Like, I don't know his lifestyle, but I'm assuming,
Is he in LA?
Yeah, he's California, I think. 90%.
How do you know
sure.
that? Why do you know that?
Because, man, 90% of the time they're in LA, unless they're like some New York, like old school, like Paul Giamatti kind of actor. There's no chance that they're not in LA.
I got Paul Giamatti as your New York actor, but I was just thinking because what is it? In Comedy Central, they would go Daily Show, Colbert. Back when I was watching it regularly, it's what I don't know what it is now. Trevor Noah, Larry Wilmore, and then at midnight, right?
Yeah. And
I think the two of them
something
are
with-
at Daily Show and Nightly Show, Colbert Report. Those were all in New York.
yeah, Daily Show was definitely New York. I think Colbert Report or The Rapport could have been either New York or LA, but I'm pretty sure at least the
This is
majority of the
most-
shows nowadays.
This is the stupidest argument we could be having.
Exactly. Which
where does
coast
Chris
is the
Hardwick
best
live?
coast?
Based on Comedy Central's other shows.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, enough about the Hardwick.
You did
Let's
some
just say-
news. You got some news for us, right?
I do, yes. There is a video that's going viral on the YouTube, the recesses of YouTube. It's got like 250,000 hits already.
Abe's salivating. Just thinking about
It's-
that.
Well, actually, funny you should mention the word salivate because it actually has to do with food. not
Okay.
what you were probably. Anyways, so there's this video of like this Chinese woman, and there's a piece of like corn, like sweet corn, at the end of a drill.
Yes.
And the drill, is like a rotating motion. So the idea is that she would be able to eat the entire corn cob in like one sitting, like very quickly. But to make a long story short, the drill kind of spins out of control and takes off like a big chunk of her hair. And now the poor woman is half bald, and she's got a great story. But was it worth it? My question.
I tell you, doing news roundup. This is number one. This woman's bald, half bald now. It's hair. We keep coming back to hair. How much hair people have.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether they should have access to nukes based on their hair.
Hey man, I don't trust a person that doesn't have like confidence in their hair. Your hair is your head suit, as I think Alec Baldwin said.
What happened to your? When I saw your hair when we first tried this, like an hour ago, your hair was crazy. You had not done your hair. I mean, today, have you?
No. It just sort of speaks for itself.
You've cleaned it up. I guess that's my point. In the time since I've seen you today online, your hair has gotten a lot less crazy.
Well, the thing is, it just sort of does what it wants. The hair does what the heart wants, I believe.
All right.
That's an old Buddhist saying. And,
I think that one. Is that Woody Allen? Is that his Sun Yi one?
Is it?
The heart? No, the heart wants what the heart wants, not the hair.
I was like,
your version of it.
Wow. That's amazing. Maybe Woody Allen and I have more in common than they previously thought.
I'd back off that statement, Will, quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know
Abe is
that
a prodigy and a genius, and I'm nowhere near that.
I want to say that was the Woody Allen quote from that, but I don't know for sure.
Who came up with that?
Wants what the heart wants.
Is that
or at least it's commonly attributed to him? I want to say.
You could have ripped it off from someone else, though.
Emily Dickinson?
Oh, really?
The heart wants what it wants, or else it does not care.
You know what? I'm going to search for that with Woody Allen. Okay, here's what it is. Time magazine, Woody Allen quoted Emily Dickinson talking about Sun Yi, so that's where I guess that's where I got it. But
I gotcha. Okay.
I have to say though, quoting Emily Dickinson, this teenage girl, as he's talking about Sun Yi to justify his relationship with her, maybe not the best choice of a person to quote.
Definitely a bold choice. Certainly a bold choice.
He doesn't seem to give a shit when he's talking in print. He just.
Well, he's like 80 now, though. I mean, reading it now, he sounds like an old guy who's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
This was an old timer.
Are you suggesting the man is senile, Tom?
No, but I think you get to a certain point where you can tell when someone's 80 and they're interviewed, they're just automatically different than when they're even 60 and being interviewed.
How so? Would you say? Just less context to what they're saying, or there's just more of like a carefree, like I don't give a shit what happens sort of
less
attitude.
In touch with what I think there's less of a sense of sort of the overall context of what they're saying. And Woody is like a very specific like what I mean there, just because he had that was it Hollywood Reporter or what was that recent one? Abe, do you remember?
I don't remember where it came from. It was one of those Hollywood Reporter, Variety, something. You sent me the link, or you posted it.
I did post the link. I think it was Hollywood Reporter. But he's talking about his marriage with Sun Yi. And now we're on this somehow. Okay.
I have a great segue if we're ever looking to get out of this Woody Allen.
Interrupt me at some point. Yeah, well, all I mean is he was talking about his relationship with Sun Yi. The question was, I think, how has your relationship with Sun Yi, like how has the marriage affected you? How has she changed him? And he gives this really long answer about all the opportunities he's given her since, when she was a kid in an orphanage.
Given you so many chances, Sun Yi.
It's like how
Sun Yi will be out of here.
Like how he's raised such a good wife was essentially his answer.
Yeah.
It was awkward. You could tell he just. I don't think it's because he really just does. To some degree, it's because he doesn't care, but it's also, I think, because he really doesn't understand how bad that sounds, or he's just he's a little out of touch at this point, and it's not clear to him that can be read in other ways than the one way he means it.
Right.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yes.
Can you say? Speaking of funny interviews, I actually the Coen brothers are notorious for some of their just like sarcastic, off the cuff quips when they're getting reviewed, or just interviewed by the tedious Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Rolling Stone. Like it all probably blends together when you've reached that level of fame.
They got interviewed by a guy whose last name was Penis, and they talk about that in the Man Who Wasn't There commentary, and they said it wasn't spelled that way, and so they said it some other way, and he's like, no, it's Penis. I'm like, okay, Mr. Penis.
That's so funny you mentioned that in interview because that's the exact one I was going to talk about. The man who wasn't there. Same
okay.
interviewer, Mr. Penis, apparently. He was like, he said something that was like, so how would you describe the character? Like what is it about him? And then
He has a
Joel,
low metabolism or has a slow metabolism? Is that the answer?
Joel said something like, yeah, I don't know, there just wasn't much there. Or, just some very like, dude, it's in the title. Like, can you not take a fucking context clue?
There's another one from them.
yeah.
They're asking about Ed Crane. They're like, how would you describe Ed Crane? And Ethan says, he has a low metabolism. And it goes like, he has a low metabolism. And that was their answer.
Just agree with each other. Why not? I mean, honestly, once you've hit that level of fame, it's just there's no point in pandering to these. I mean, if you're sort of like a Michael Bay, you want to be on the good side of these reporters. They write up a good review, so you make your money back. Certainly, but the Coen brothers are just like, we're in it for the art.
Well, that's interesting. I would think Michael Bay is more critic-proof than the Coen brothers.
Really?
I would.
I think if the critics all turned on the Coen brothers for a sustained amount of time, they'd be in a lot more trouble than obviously it's already happened to Michael Bay, his whole career.
Yeah.
He's going to make money regardless.
He's been doing that to himself for years.
Well, I mean, the Coens, I don't know if you would say that they are for sure going to make money on their movies. As long as they don't overspend, they're probably safe. I mean, it looks like if you look at, their last 10 years, you can rely on at least $30 million from anything. So if they're spending, under $15 million, they're probably okay. But would the Coens be in trouble if they made like a $80 million movie right now?
That'd be interesting. How much was Cloud Atlas? Wasn't that like pretty expensive?
Well, that wasn't the Coen brothers.
CGI in there. What?
Do you think Cloud Atlas?
No, that was the Wachowski brothers. Damn it!
Sisters now.
Yes, the Wachowski twins.
They're not twins.
Siblings, whatever.
They didn't become twins they didn't transition into twins, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
Tom, you're making me look horrible.
I like that Cloud Atlas. You think that was the Coen brothers? It's just a funny misconception there. That was $100 million, and I don't think that made any money.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Even though Tom Hanks was in that movie, it still didn't make a single dime.
He was in that movie like 6 times, even.
Yeah, he was like 4 different people in 15 different universes at 6 different times in history. I don't even know. There's a lot going on. He had a busy, let's just say behind the set, backstage, the guy had a busy costume change and, probably makeup and hairdresser.
I like this idea that someone would try to do like Cloud Atlas as a play, and it's all still jumbled up like that. And so these actors have to keep running backstage, changing costumes, becoming Asian, running back on the stage.
Quick, you grab the Asian wigs.
Put the yellow face on, like, really quick.
Yeah.
Get back out there.
Where's the stage blood? We don't have the stage blood. Damn it. Just fake it. Just pretend. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. No, that would be hysterical if you could turn that.
Change like 40 times in a night if it was as jumbled as the movie.
The poor guy's so fucking exhausted by the end of the night. He can barely stand. He's like, if you only knew how many like fake beards I had to wear in this movie or in this play, you'd sympathize with me 100-fold.
And they have to do it every night for like 6 months.
Yeah. Because it's sold out for like the entire. Somehow it's still successful.
You'd almost just want to see that for the spectacle. Which
oh, absolutely.
Here we get into Michael Bay territory.
Go see The Lion King. You can just listen to all the songs on your iPod. Yeah, you can watch the movie 100,000 times, and it's probably pretty close to the same thing. But seeing it on Broadway is somehow more magical. So.
Did you see the stage Lion King?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Well, I don't think I was ever like a huge fan of the movie or the stage. I did see the stage one.
Oh, really?
I don't remember it very well. I went to it, and I just remember thinking like, I don't know that. Why are they? I don't want to watch a bunch of people like vaguely dressed up as lions doing all that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It didn't. I had trouble connecting to it. I guess that's what I'll say. But
so you have no problem when you walk into a play and there's like a single desk on stage and they're like, he's in an office.
I like that so much more.
There's more suspense.
But that's the same
The guy's
thing.
not wearing a mask that's like, got squinty eyes. It's like, and it's like Tom Cruise. It's like the guy's also Asian in his office in like Beijing. It's sort of more believable than like.
No, I'm just curious.
The
You
Lion
lost me
King.
there, Will.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're getting at.
I was trying to go for a metaphor. And just didn't. The pieces just
I think
didn't.
you
fit
agree with
together.
me, but I don't know what you're saying. So
Yeah, just continue with your next point.
minimalism, I think, it's much easier for me to get into that than something that's overwrought and so overcomplicated, and a bunch of people that are all these different animals, and they have just like enough of a costume that you can tell. You don't like minimalism on stage, Abe?
No, I do. But I'm also not complaining about the Lion King animals.
Do you like The Lion King?
Yeah, I liked it. I saw the Road Show or whatever, but it was all right.
Yeah, I think that's one I saw too.
Yeah. We don't get to Broadway as much as we used to, Tom.
Oh.
Darn.
Oh, by the way, just real quick, I'm sorry to derail this. Coen Brothers' Intolerable Cruelty, lowest one on Rotten Tomatoes. $70 million to make, $35 million domestic gross.
That was $70 million budget on that one?
Yep, that's what it says here.
Oh, man.
Or
That
I'm sorry, $60 million. 60.
Even so, that's
So
their
that's
most.
quite a hit.
That's probably their highest budget, right?
Right. That's got to be.
That didn't look that much more expensive, I feel like. It's been a long time since I watched that one, but...
Well, I think Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes, salaries, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Coens get a lot for that one.
Yeah, they probably made a killing. The money made no money. They probably, or the movie made no money. They probably still made something.
Well, I think... I don't know the whole story, but there's something weird about that time frame because they had To the White Sea fall apart, and then they did the Intolerable Cruelty and Lady Killers were kind of directed for hire gigs, weren't they? I mean, they wrote them too, but they were kind of... I thought they both started as sort of writer for hire, and then they just decided, okay, well, we'll direct these too. And then they don't do anything for 3 years, or for a few years anyway, and come back with No Country.
Yeah.
There's something to that.
Yeah.
All right, do you know? I haven't been able to really find much explaining what they were thinking in that time period because of the interviews. At least they don't really
It's
tell
just so
you.
ambiguous.
I was asking, after seeing Lady Killers and Intolerable Cruelty, I was asking the same question too. What are they thinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lack of passion with those two. I think that you can definitely point to compared to the rest of their movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someday someone needs to do a Coen Brothers big biography or a tell-all, Coen Brothers on the Coen Brothers sort of thing, and figure that out because I'm curious.
Well, yeah, clearly they needed to recharge their batteries. I mean, obviously, because they were... What was even before Intolerable Cruelty? It wasn't exactly... Was it...
It was the man who wasn't there.
Okay.
They had Oh Brother and Man Who Wasn't There back to back, and then Intolerable Cruelty and The Lady Killers. I think To the White Sea was supposed to be right after The Man Who Wasn't There, and that fell apart right around then. And what's his name over at HitFix? I forget his name. I remember his ain't a cool name. I don't remember his real name.
McWeeny?
Yeah, Drew McWeeny. He always has this concept that he throws around that they were going to quit directing and only write scripts after To the White Sea fell apart. And I've never found anything that validated that claim. So I'm always trying to find it because it's a fascinating idea that they'd get to that point.
Right.
They just don't seem dramatic enough to me to be like, yeah, we're done. This movie fell apart and we're ready to just never direct again. But maybe they are. I mean, who knows what they're like in real life?
It was such a strange time for them, from Oh Brother Where Art Thou to Lady Killers. Very weird time for them. Overall, It was very. I don't know if they were. The only one I really like in that block is The Man That Wasn't There. Honestly, I thought Oh Brother Where Art Thou was okay.
It's fun enough. I'm okay with that one.
Right.
What do you think, Will?
Fan of their more recent stuff, I'd say.
Are you a fan of Oh Brother?
I haven't seen Oh Brother.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have not, no. That'll be a cinematic treat for another night. I wish I had. I don't know. True Grit was interesting, for sure.
Too busy watching Cloud Atlas and thinking it's Coen Brothers. I get the Coen Brothers.
I totally know what they're going for. Those Coen Brothers. Meanwhile, it's completely not this. It's completely just not them. It's totally different people. I don't know. True Grit, honestly, interesting. I don't know. Big blockbuster for sure. Remake of that John Wayne movie. So I think they were looking for more of a comeback. I mean, they've had some pretty great stuff recently. Hail Caesar was pretty entertaining in my opinion. It was no Big Lebowski, but it was certainly Certainly worth a second watch.
I might say I like Hail Caesar more than Big Lebowski, actually.
Really?
Whoa.
That's a bold
I
statement,
know
Tom.
a lot of people
I'm
won't
sure I
say-
heard that correctly.
Yeah. I thought Hail Caesar was phenomenal. I thought it was just a fantastic movie on all levels.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's very entertaining.
I think we should probably get to the title of our show, which is Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now we've talked about a lot of other
The Coen
movies.
Brother universe.
And I don't want to
Wachowski
do
Brother
too
universe.
much. I don't want to
Wachowski.
overstep our bounds here because Abe's got me on we'll both be on the round table tomorrow.
Yes, we
talking
will.
about Captain America. But Will, I just want to hear what you think, Will. So I know you had walked out of Ultron, right?
Yes.
But the disclaimer there is that you walk out of movies kind of just on a whim, more so than because it was really so bad.
Yeah, if it's sort of intolerable or just boring beyond all means, then I tend to walk out. I don't know, especially with sort of like these action blockbuster movies.
But you get to that point pretty easily. That's what I mean.
Yeah, well, I give it a good half an hour, sometimes hour. I mean,
Well,
I've walked out of movies where it's like there's like 25 minutes left, and I'm like, I know how this probably ends, and I know what's going to happen to Scarlett Johansson's character, and everything's going to fall into place perfectly, and there's going to be a teaser for the next movie, and I don't really care about any of this. So,
how many have been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to this point? I mean, there's been, what, like 15 of them?
oh, a grand bunch.
Something like that?
Flat throughout.
Have you seen many of them?
Quite a few. I mean, since Iron Man in like '08, and I think Batman was sort of like the precursor to those superhero movies. Obviously, they made like superhero movies before that, like Superman, but this is just sort of like a recent idea, I think. The
Superhero
Marvel,
movies?
yeah. The Marvel. I mean, they're making like 4 of them every year, and it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
this many of them, yeah.
It's just-
I mean, cinematic universes are new, I think.
Yeah, but I mean that's just like that's just stretching it out so they can make more money. So they can make more movies that follow like the same formula, that essentially just have like the same ending. So I mean everyone gets a happy, fantastic ending, like fairy tale ending, and there's no real substance to the movie. So for me, it's just sort of it's very like sugar. It's like cotton candy of movies. You have like your nice buzz,
And it's not even that good, though. You're like, it's every once in a while you go to the fair or something, and there's cotton candy, and you're
Cotton
like,
candy is delicious, by the way.
okay, I guess I'll get some cotton candy, but it's not that good. I mean,
I'd rather have a corn dog, to be honest.
I'm getting a dirty look here. What, you don't like?
Cotton candy's delicious.
I'm getting told cotton candy's delicious, so
I was agreeing with you.
sorry. Yeah, I don't think cotton candy's all that great. I have to say. Or like, what do you think
Really?
about funnel?
Sugar.
Have you tried other flavors?
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't had cotton candy in so many years. I don't remember it.
You can
that
buy
well.
it at the store, Tom. Come on.
I-
That's good.
Would you buy cotton candy at the store? Really?
Never in my life, but you can.
No.
It's an option.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, my metaphor just fell apart there. Anyway, you walking out is what I kept thinking about when I watched Captain America: Civil War.
Really?
I just
that
like
bad or
well, it's just
it's boring?
I don't think any of them are incompetent movies. They're just you know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I don't think this was really that different. I wasn't enjoying myself. I would say more than anything. I have problems with it, but it's not. I mean, like, did you see Die Hard 5, for example?
Oh, of course. Every
was-
waking moment of it.
That's an incompetent movie, I would say.
I'd say
it's-
after about the second one, they all become sort of incompetent.
Oh, I think you have a huge
Really?
disconnect between. Even 4 looks phenomenal compared to 5.
It's sort of like the.
Well, I mean, 4 is like basically cohesive. It kind of makes sense. You can follow the plot. The characters kind of. You understand a little bit of what they're doing, and there's
And Kevin Smith. Yeah.
yeah, and Kevin Smith's there, and I don't. At 5, I just. Maybe you guys understood 5. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I feel like 5 just made no sense on any level, and it was just. It felt like they had cobbled together 50 different scripts, and didn't really try to make the cohesion between them.
See, that's what I feel like they're doing with the Marvel universe. They're just
They are, but
like
they don't try
it's
hard
a
enough to
hodgepodge of ideas, and nothing really has any closure. And then that's just like a trail, like a cliffhanger for the next movie. So that's like in a way they can advertise with that, and they can also just like leave you, I don't know, like feeling gypped in the movie theater.
Okay,
So I don't.
my difference there is so the bad guys in Marvel movies are like they want to destroy the world or they want to kill the Thor or whatever. What were they trying to do in Die Hard 5? Something about Chernobyl or something. It was like a bomb, maybe. Do you
Yeah, it was
remember,
definitely a departure from the other like Die Hard sort of like ideas. Or
Well, the other
themes.
ones, they're all just robbing things, aren't they? At the end of the day,
Well,
I
there's
think
that hacker in like the third one, right? Live Free and Die
that
Hard,
was the
or
fourth
That's
one.
the fourth one.
oh
He was
shit.
just robbing the U.S. though, wasn't he? I think.
Sure. I mean, I would.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. That's not an incriminating statement because I made it as a joke.
Well, okay. I mean, that's kind of the shtick with Die Hard, though, is you think it's a terrorist attack, but it's secretly just a robbery for the most part, right? I mean, most of them anyway. Five,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what they were doing. John, I almost said John Wayne there. John McClane keeps talking about
John McWayne.
like I'm here on vacation, and he wasn't on vacation because he's getting his son. And I don't remember what his
No,
son
that
doing.
was
He sounds like a
and the
secret
fact that he
agent or
repeated
something.
that several
Yeah, he
times.
kept saying he's on vacation, and it never made sense. And I guess that movie gave me so much
Right, yeah.
perspective because I think pre Die Hard 5, I would say things were incompetent, or I was so much harsher on movies. That one just I was like, oh, it's unfair of me to use these things because Die Hard 5 is an embodiment of all these really, really harsh things I'm saying about movies that don't quite deserve it just because they aren't trying at all.
I don't think so. I think honestly, I mean, I know you have to save your best stuff for tomorrow, the roundtable discussion. But in my opinion, I just wanted to hear, at least from you, Abe, and probably from you as well, Tom, like if you guys had some sort of, could you speak to the idea that maybe since Batman versus Superman had just previously come out and was supposed to be sort of like a milestone in the like Marvel universe, that this isn't just, you know, Captain America versus Iron Man, and they're now like doing that where they like put the superheroes against each other and like they have to combine forces to fight off the evil whatever. It doesn't even matter what word I use because it's just so pointless. The
If
evil
we just don't say anything,
alien
I
or
think you'll
something.
just keep going. I mean,
Yeah.
we can just let this go. Well, I'll let Abe should answer this.
I don't know. This is a throwback to an older comic. Not older, but it was like early 2000s. Marvel
Okay.
Civil War, yeah. Where Iron Man supported a bill that would force every superhero to become an employee of the government, basically.
Oh,
And Captain America didn't want to do it, so they fought and threw down. It is odd timing to me, though, that's they both come out at the same time. It's very,
Yeah.
very strange.
I mean, they just traded in the title Captain America versus Iron Man for Civil War,
Civil War,
just to make it sound a little bit classier. Instead of, you know, I mean, they slapped Dawn of Justice on the Batman Superman thing, just to kind of give it a little bit of like nuance,
That is the least nuanced title.
shred of nuance.
It's
Yeah,
such
actually,
a
apparently that
clunky
was the
title.
name of like another movie, so they couldn't just take that and use that. They had to.
Like Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Oh well, I think you were going to probably stick with Batman versus Superman anyway, right?
That's the money
Probably.
right there. That's what,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's your paycheck
Right.
if you're Zack Snyder.
So, but okay, I guess once again, I don't want to get too much into tomorrow's territory, but them becoming employees of the government was in order to accomplish what?
To bring them under control, basically the same kind of argument, that there needs to be some accountability. They need to be a little bit more structured. I mean, you've got to understand, in the comics, there's, thousands of these people running around doing God knows what.
At any hour of the day.
Yeah, right. I mean, the whole thing.
We like that.
Yeah, one of the whole things. As I recall, the whole thing started because this group of low-tier superheroes were filming a reality TV show to arrest low-tier villains, and they got their asses handed to them so badly that one of them had a bad superhero reaction and blew up a school and killed all these children.
Oh, that's more provocative than what we saw in the movie.
Yeah, we saw a side of a building blow up and everybody freak out.
Well,
Well-
that happens every day in, in countries besides America.
Right. That's exactly right.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. My other question though is, did Captain America have a better argument in the comic book for not wanting to do it?
The funny thing about being invited to a podcast without any warning, I have no prep ready. I can't remember at all how it flows, what Cap's argument is.
That's
Something to think
the
about
same-
for tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually had planned to thumb through the comic just to refresh my memory a little bit.
Do you have the original, or do you have like a
Oh.
reprinted version?
No, I'm a trade paperback kind of person.
Nice.
Apparently not, really, because you're all Kindle these days.
Well, yeah, I would. If comics could actually flow on a Kindle well, I would do that, but they don't.
should make an
Really?
app for that.
That
Tom?
seems doable, right?
That
I mean,
would
it's just
fund our
pages
meeting.
and pages, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's still, I mean, the frames are just a little too small in this little tiny Kindle, you know?
Okay.
You'd have to
Need a
zoom
big
in.
page.
And, yeah, I mean, nah, it wouldn't work.
Well, that's probably all we want to talk about with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Any other news, Will?
News as in? Could you be more specific?
Well, I thought you were going to do a news roundup, and you had one story about a woman's
oh yeah,
hair
that was
so far.
that was the only story I had, Tom.
Really? That's not a roundup.
Well,
Chris says he misses everybody. By the way, I think he's talking about the audience. I don't really know, but
tell him to get better soon, or schedule his meetings more appropriately, or I don't know, something.
that's a backhanded compliment right there.
Oh no! I wish him all the best, Tom.
He's very big. He's very successful.
Yeah, he's a yeah.
It's regular Chris Hardwick.
He's interviewing for the Kelly and Michael show.
Yes, he's on to bigger and better things, I think.
He has his own show on Comedy Central.
Did you hear about the Kelly and Michael debacle?
Kelly Ripa and Michael
Yeah.
Strahan.
I just seen a couple articles.
Strahan?
I think it's Strahan, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stratham is you, I think, thinking of Jason Statham and combining the two.
Michael
You get those mixed
How
up
did
all
you
the time.
know?
Yes.
I've only seen his last name written, so I've never actually heard it out loud. I just don't watch the show that often. As much as I love Kelly Ripa.
My understanding is that he got promoted to Good Morning America,
Yes.
and then she got offended because she was told that
too
on the
old.
day that he was going to make the public announcement 4 months before he went to do it, and so she was very offended because of this, and so she didn't show up to the show for the rest of the week. And I'm trying to understand why. I don't know. Is it just because it's publicly 4 months as opposed to privately 4 months before he did it that it was the problem? I don't know what he did wrong there.
Who can say?
Michael
Who can say?
Statham.
Michael Stratham is just not like combine the names. Just
Yeah.
put it like in an electric generator or like one of those like atom smashers that they have in like CERN. Just like smash them together.
It's so elaborate for this.
It really is. You can't just say blender. I mean, that's just,
Yeah, I should have just said. I would have said blender if it just like popped into my head like faster than the
You have to
CERN
find the
shit.
convoluted way to get the idea across.
I'm trying to make it poetic and at the same time just jumbling the words.
Well, how long have we been going, Abe? Do you have any idea?
About 42 minutes.
yeah, we've done we've done about 1,100 megabytes.
So we should probably start to wrap this up anyway. We're getting close to that. I think when we get to around 50 minutes, we're good. So usually I'll say this and then we'll get distracted and talk for a little bit longer.
Did you? I guess if we're going to talk news,
Yes.
did you see Facebook actually admitted that they were kind of controlling the news feeds of everybody?
Really?
Yes.
Like tailoring them to what they
not,
think?
not tailoring. I mean, specifically, they were like de-emphasizing conservative stories.
Oh.
They were actively working to quash conservative stories and conservative trends and try and push more liberal ideas.
Not
My
that
question-
I don't.
Oh,
It's
go
a
ahead,
terrible
Will.
idea, but ethically speaking, I don't know if you can necessarily do that.
Well, okay, but ethically speaking, at the same time, is Facebook accountable for giving a fair and balanced bit of news or perspective on the news?
It's true. That's what you go to Fox for, fair and balanced.
I mean, if you're looking for
Really want fair and
if you're looking at Facebook for your news, should you expect that that's going to be the best reporting? I guess I don't know.
A lot of people get their news via like social media these
Yeah,
days. Like
right.
I get most of my news on Twitter, which is sad, but it's
Isn't
really
it-
true.
Isn't it your fault though if you go to something that's not a reputable news source and then get mad that there's a slant that they're not making obvious?
Yeah. Do you know what the Slack or like? Do you know what the public outcry besides the this is unfair that you're distorting my news feed sort of argument? Do you know if there was like any other
Well, they
back that they had?
from what I understood is if they tried to keep right-wing stories from trending, and they were injecting other news stories that would kind of take its place, so, to keep anything like really big conservative from gathering momentum.
That's irritating because I mean, of course, you're going to get that with any news source, depending on where you go and what you do with it. And Zuckerberg is probably not that conservative. I'm just going out on a limb here, but I don't know. Like even like BuzzFeed, occasionally I'll click on the 21 hilarious photos of you when you're in your 20s or some stupid article, but The majority of their political news is very much Hillary Clinton based. Like you see the occasional outrageous Donald Trump story, and you see the occasional a bird landed on Bernie Sanders' podium, kind of like miracle. I like to call it.
But you're not a supporter.
No, I'm not. But nature has already supported the man. So. Need I even speak, Tom? Just kidding.
Well,
no, but
okay,
I mean, so you go to BuzzFeed for your news, they're like geared towards Hillary. So you're gonna get that with anything you go to, depending on what website you click on.
Abe, do you think it's unfair of Facebook to do what they want with the news feed? That I mean, if people are gullible enough to only use Facebook, and then I don't know. I guess I don't know why Facebook can't do that. I mean,
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I mean, I definitely see what you say, but then again, if there's an important news story, if you go to Facebook to kind of share information with friends and pictures, and also to communicate with each other. If there's a story that there are people that are like-minded that you have in your circle, if they like a story, I would definitely think you should be aware of it. If Facebook's actively quashing these stories.
oh, okay. I guess I was just thinking in the news feed, like off to the side more so.
Well, if it was getting a lot of likes, it would get quashed.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's a lot more. It's a little bit more devious than I thought.
That's
how
I read it, but I haven't done a full. I was hoping one of you guys had read it too, so you could. Like here, Facebook.
Will was in charge of news today, so let's blame him.
Yeah, like
Will and Chris.
I'll take the blame. All right.
They had a lot of pressure apparently from not having a trending topic about Black Lives Matter, so they started to insert some.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a messy issue, and I wish there was an alternative somewhere out there where they could just deliver facts.
That would be great.
Just facts. That's all I want. I don't want.
I get the news from the BBC sometimes because they're sort of like impartial to American politics sometimes.
Right. Sometimes.
But yeah, then you get a bunch of like local like London stuff, and I'm like, all right, this doesn't apply to me. They're like, should the Whig Party overtake the Tories? And it's like, what? This is not anything that I'm attached to.
Sure, that's the BBC. Or are you just reading a history book? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird example.
I don't know if those are active political parties in the UK, but I can definitely say that at some point they might have been.
I guess I don't know that there's any news that's impartial, really. Or
Al Jazeera.
Yeah, except for Al Jazeera. I mean, everybody has their biases, yeah. But I don't know. I guess it's kind of just you find the one that aligns with your bias. I feel like is all you're really doing. Anyway. I don't know why I'm stuttering on that word, but I don't know. Like Facebook, I don't think Facebook is a reputable news source. I guess so. I don't think that I'm completely outraged by them abusing what stories they have versus like Fox News. People do look at as a reputable news source. And I mean, any of them you can point to times when they do this. But for example, like Fox doing the same thing where, like, say they're distorting something obviously, or CNN doing it where they're distorting something obviously. That's abusing people's trust in a much more overt way, I think. Whereas if Facebook is where you're getting the information, that's you got your information from Facebook, so that's kind of your problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely inclined to their viewership and their like target audience. So of course they're like, Fox is going to run another story about the war on Christmas rather than, CNN posting, I don't know, something a little bit more liberal perhaps, or like more median, while MSNBC is definitely to the left.
Yeah.
I don't know though. As a weird segue, and this is kind of like completely almost unrelated, but there was a really attractive girl that I was going to like sit and eat breakfast with. So we were having a conversation, right?
Okay.
And, I was like, so what do you want to be in life? She's like, well, I want to be the next Megyn Kelly. I was like, oh, this is never going to work out. Like, damn it. Well, it was good while we tried. We made a very cute couple for breakfast, and that's all that's ever going to be.
So you actually couldn't date somebody that has a different political viewpoint?
No. I absolutely could. Okay. But just that vehement of just like
Megyn Kelly, deal breaker.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's cool. What if you guys share the same political views, but what if she like loves Marvel or Die Hard 5?
Oh, see, I could easily get over it. I would sit in the movie theater probably.
I'm just curious where that line is drawn.
In a very superficial area, I would say.
Okay, okay, I got you.
But I don't know. It's just very interesting to me, at least, because I'm sort of on the liberal side, and I go to a conservative school, which is sort of a weird, hopefully, movie someday when I write my autobiography.
You're not only, I mean, you're an outsider in like a million ways at that school, also because it's extremely religious too, right?
Yes. Well, like I'm sort of pro-choice, and whenever that comes up, it's
Don't say that too loud. They'll burn down the building.
Like, I'm still okay. All right. So yeah, I'm a little bit pro-choice, and the thing is, pro-choice. And the thing is, like, obviously, it is against the conservative platform to be pro-choice. But then, you get all sorts of like weird accusations hurled at you. Baby killer. Oh, so you're okay with just like murdering little babies? No. The genocide of baby.
Be careful here because it's supposed to be funny here. So hope it's going somewhere funny.
Tom, I need you. You need to be the comedic threat. It's like gets me out of this ditch. But yeah, let's see. Where was I?
You're literally talking about murdering babies here, just so you know.
Well, no, I
so
think
you're aware.
I think it's more the woman's choice. I am pro the woman being able to choose, and I'm not having the abortion. Clearly,
is this a rallying cry? Or I'm just saying, like, you got a joke up your sleeve?
Well,
let's make it funny, and then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's a good joke.
Sort of. Just tell a joke.
Semi-related. Yeah. All right. Why did the mother throw the baby down flight of stairs? Because she wanted to see the baby take its first 15 steps.
All right. Well.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. That was good.
It's a little insensitive.
Napoleon didn't crack a smile.
No.
But.
Well, Napoleon's been giving me that same blue steel sort of like Tyra Banks look the entire show.
He does have a high forehead, doesn't he? He could be a model.
The man and I pretty much have the same hairline, to be honest.
There you go. You both are models.
It comes back to hairlines. I mean, it's all about the hairlines here at Vegetables Not the Industries.
Yeah, it's true. I need to shift my comedy away from the facial.
Chris Hardwick is sticking around for the hairline jokes.
Really? All right. Well, I gotta appeal to my audience.
Yeah. You gotta make Chris Hardwick happy. And what if you could be on at midnight talking about hair?
Oh no, it'd be catastrophic. Oh, no. Let's name something very unfunny that we all like. Will, you're up first.
Hairlines.
This show. Ding 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 ding.
You win the internet.
Yeah.
All right.
Just trending for like 20 hours, but then
let's wrap that up. Let's wrap this up then, because I think we've been going for a long time.
Apologies for the sort of weird crash and burn ending, but I really thought I had more there. I thought I did. Yep. Sorry.
Let's focus on the Chris Hardwick stuff's funnier than the baby stuff, so let's remember that.
Workshop it. You can get there. Yeah.
You want to plug the roundtable tomorrow?
Yes, we are doing a roundtable tomorrow. Tom, myself, and now Jamil and Dan are joining us to talk Captain America Civil War.
In much more depth than we talked about it tonight.
Much more depth, yes.
There's more depth and clarity. Yes. I'm sure I just muddied up the conversation quite a bit. So, let's let you guys look at it with a very transparent point of view.
All right. Well, we will see you then. And it was fun, everybody. Sorry we can't start the show on time ever. We'll hopefully be able to do that next week.
Until then, have a vegetable lasagna week. I don't know what the hell that means, but you find out the definition for yourself.
Indeed.
Absolutely.